Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Real Report. It is a beautiful, snowy Friday, and I hope you guys have an excellent day. We're going to be briefly plowing through the domestic news from earlier this week and showcase some of the lunacy and clown world level current events. If you guys could leave a like, that would help me out, and what would help even more than donations is if you watch the video all the way through. That's right, the biggest thing that the algo wants to see that is absolutely free is if you watch to the end of the video. Now let's get into it. White House delays refill of strategic oil reserve, balks at too expensive offer, which if you guys have been following my videos for any amount of time, we know that the SPR, they were saying they would refill, in the 80s, and of course it gets down there and they say, we can't do it. Which, of course, when you announce that you're going to fill at a certain price, that becomes the floor, and now they're reaping the consequences of the poor choice of words. So hopefully oil will actually go down further. Florida governor deploys National Guard in response to migrant coastal surge, which isn't the only place this is a problem. Florida National Park forced to shut down due to illegal immigration influx. That's right, the illegal aliens are taking over not only the borders around Texas, but also Florida, apparently. And officers had to clear a homeless migrant camp from El Paso streets ahead of Biden visit. That's right, apparently the streets are overflowing, so it's not just homeless people in the inner cities, but illegal aliens as well. And an interesting one to start things off with McCarthy, I guess trying to save face, even though everybody thinks he's more or less a worthless grifter. I will give them a lot of credit if they get this done. That is a big win, and Republicans need a win desperately. Now, the IRS is on the chopping block on the first day of legislative work under Speaker McCarthy. The bill would claw back $72 billion of the 90% of the $80 billion boost it received last year, and they would attempt to axe most of those 87,000 new IRS employees tasked with raising enough revenue to pay for Democrats' Green New Deal and all of their firearm training. So hopefully that'll pass. Hopefully they will reduce the power and influence that the IRS was attempting to build. Now, bleeding blue, cops are fleeing New York City NYPD in the biggest exodus since 9/11, and who can blame them? The law they just passed after New Year's made it so that anybody under the age of 12 can't be charged for any crime other than a homicide. I mean, what kind of society are we living in where, you can steal whatever you want, do whatever you want, nothing's illegal, as long as you don't kill somebody, and you don't steal something more than $750 in value. Now, New York Police Department saw 3,701 cops retire or resign in 2022 alone, the most since post 9/11, when 3,800 cops said goodbye to the job. So, it's just going to make things more dangerous, so keep an eye out and be safe. Now, Transmaxing, meet the online community that is encouraging gender transitions for sexually frustrated men. Oh boy, and they say Andrew Tate promoting masculinity is the problem. I don't think so. Now, Grotesque, new Batman story, features the Joker becoming pregnant, which I think the irony there, the Joker becoming pregnant and giving birth to a handsome baby. One critic decided to use more than 2 brain cells and said, quote, "Who else is sick of this lunacy?" Well, I'm pretty sure most normal Americans, hardworking Americans, people trying to put food on their tables or just be left alone. We're all with you, buddy. None of us agree with this absolute clown world level insanity, and we don't think that men can have babies. Look at this. Look at this comic. I almost just swore, but I don't want to get dinged any points. In the new Joker comic, he gets pregnant and gives birth. Yep, the Joker is trans now. At least the character is the Joker, because a pregnant woman thinking they're a pregnant man is the definition of a Joker. Who else is sick of this lunacy? From Robbie Starbuck. So, props to you, good sir. Now, A.G. Garland defies Biden, seeks death penalty for accused Islamist maniac. Now, this is the guy in New York City who drove down the bike path and ran over a whole bunch of cyclists, pedestrians, etc. near Manhattan's West Side Highway on Halloween 5 years ago. And the federal trial begins on Monday, as in, Martin Luther King Day. So just around the corner. Interesting one, I think there should be more consequences for people, if they are 100% convicted, found guilty, irrefutable proof presented, and they really have committed acts of terror. And even a lot of people who are criminals, rapists, pedophiles, they need to bring the death penalty back, in my opinion. I'm not promoting violence. I'm simply saying that capital punishment has a place, and it would probably do a lot more good. Again, if they are 100% guilty, proven guilty, no shadow of a doubt about it, that would probably prevent a lot of other crimes, copycat stuff, etc. Now, a man faces terror charge for damaging power plant outside Las Vegas. News story that was black-holed has surfaced now from January 6th. Suspect from Idaho scoped out Nevada power generating site. Man is facing terror-related charges after police said he rammed his car through a gate at a solar plant outside Vegas and set his car on fire, disabling the huge facility. The 8 News Now investigators have learned. So there's the remains of the car. And then we got 2 more articles, and then we'll get you out of here. So stay tuned. Goldman Sachs, and if you haven't already, leave a like, really going to help me out, and subscribe with the notification bell to stay up to date with all the current news. Goldman Sachs' epic hiring spree ends with the biggest round of job cuts ever. This is the story of the boy who cried wolf. I mean, this is at least a once-a-month thing now. Pretty much all the banks, all the big companies, Amazon especially, more layoffs, more hiring freezes, so less jobs. But, of course, Biden just yesterday morning said, "We have the strongest employment ever. Where's my ice cream?" Or whatever. I mean, he doesn't sound like that, but, that's probably more words than he can actually utter. Now, by midweek, Goldman will begin the process of firing 3,200 employees. More than a third of those terminated will be from the investment bank's core trading and banking units. The firings are expected to be the largest ever in its operational history. And since the end of 2018, the headcount at the investment bank has jumped 34% to more than 49,000. And now we have peaked, and here comes the firing cycle. You can see their employee count here really climbed astronomically between 2019 and 2022. So not sure what they were going for there. Flashing red alert, near record surge in credit card debt just as rates hit all-time high. That's right, rates continue to climb, credit card debt becomes harder to service, and a lot of people's HELOC loans, etc., property, houses are all being, 7.5% now? Whew. What is that? If you owe $40,000, $50,000, it's like 200 and something per month. It's a lot of extra change going out the window, so it's going to continue to hurt people, make groceries less affordable, and again, a theme that's reoccurring: downgrade your overall quality of life. And the Consumer Credit Report published by the Fed a couple days ago at 3 p.m. showed that November total credit increased by $27.9 billion, all the way up to $4.75 trillion, above the $25 billion consensus estimate. So again, credit card debt is climbing higher than expected, more than 60% higher than October's $10 billion just last year. And again, down here you can see the interest rates spiking. Home sellers basically throwing money at buyers right now. Shares some of the home sales where the sellers gave at least one concession to the buyer has spiked all the way up. Instead of in 2021, it kind of came down, and now we're back at 42% for the 3-month rolling average. Now, why it matters, Oh, how the tables have turned. During the pandemic real estate frenzy, sellers held all the cards and desperate buyers did whatever they could to close a deal, waiving the inspection, paying way over asking. Now it's the home buyers who must be wooed. 42% of sellers offered at least one concession to buyers, and that's up from 31% a year ago. State of play, concessions were smaller and much less frequent than last year, according to Redfin, but when mortgage rates started shooting up last fall, sellers grew desperate to attract buyers. And the reason that I've shared this article is not just about housing. You got to look at the overall trend, and the exact same thing is happening in the car market. There's a great video the other day. I can't remember the name of the guy. Somebody had sent it to me, but he was stating the same thing. You know, the banks, they're hoarding all this inventory. So are the dealers, because they don't want to take a huge loss right now. They didn't clean it out at the end of the year. They don't want to take an L. They've only got the new things they're purchasing for MSRP at auction that they're willing to sell, and then they're still holding on to all their overpriced inventory. But the thing is, they're going to have to liquidate it at some point, so hopefully car prices, from what I've been hearing on the street, every single person has been saying the same thing, by summer of this year, so hopefully about 4 or 5 months away at most, car prices should be coming down exponentially. Heck, even if you go on CarMax right now, things are down on average thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, car prices are down like 15%, but that's still higher than what they ever should have been. I think a 2002 Highlander is still $6,000, so no thanks. And we're going to wrap it up with this, and I hope you guys have a great day.
What about American strength overall in this post-pandemic phase of recovery and renewal? Our poll shows only 34% of Americans, 1/3, believe life in this country is going well. The good news, that's up from 1 in 4 last year. Nearly half say they're scared, while nearly another half feel hopeful about 2023.
Remember, leave a like and subscribe.